The Leon Valley, Texas City Council is breaking its own law to hold an in-person city council meeting at City Hall. Why are they risking the safety of city officials and city staff instead of meeting remotely? Keep watching to find out. It could be happening because of you and me. Joe Salvaggio's political establishment in Leon Valley is at it again. First, they took out Jack Miller for filing a complaint against the city. Then they took out the First Amendment auditors and even those witnessing the First Amendment auditors. Then they booted City Councilman Benny Martinez. Martinez was critical of Salvaggio's administration and was standing up to the tyranny. And now the tyrants are coming after Leon Valley Mayor Chris Riley. Councilwoman Donna Charles filed numerous ethics complaints against Mayor Riley in September. All of those allegations quickly died, but Councilwoman Charles kept filing additional complaints. Last month, the Ethics Board claimed that Mayor Riley violated the city charter when she released billing statements for attorney Ryan Henry's involvement in the Benny Martinez removal. City Manager Kelly Kunstler's hand-picked attorney Ryan Henry racked up tens of thousands of dollars of charges, well over $100,000. And that's just in 2019 alone. Outrageous. In Texas, bills for attorney fees are public information subject to required public disclosure. And just a month before the mayor's alleged violations, the city released all of these very similar, just the months before, invoices for Ryan Henry. Let me show you just how much. Wow, that's pretty scary once that comes into focus. And this is just part of it. These invoices, which are released by the city administration with no redactions, contain the same categories of information they now claim as privileged. The mayor did the exact same thing. It was okay when the city administration did it, but now, all of a sudden, it's not. And even if it did contain privileged communications, it would be the attorney's fault for including that in a billing statement that is subject to required public disclosure that contained no title, disclaimer, anything like that that would lead someone to believe that there might be privileged information within. This is a manufactured issue. I've even requested attorney bills from Leon Valley, no redactions. Same stuff, no redactions. But when one of Salvaggio's political opponents releases it, they have to be kicked out. Public information is released by city officials and city staff on a routine daily basis. The mayor said that she didn't know that it contained any privileged information.
My argument is that no specific attorney legal advice is contained within the alleged privileged communication. No confidential information as defined in Section 552.101 is contained in the alleged communication. Again, confidential as privacy. City Council, as a governing body, solely holds and is entitled to the attorney-client privilege, and that's the Home Rule Charter, Section 3.09e. Again, there was no mark, redaction, or stamp on the billing statements or email that asserted any part of the bills that were privileged or confidential. That's C3 through C5 that you've seen this evening. The City Council has not asserted attorney-client privilege as to any part of the bills submitted. And what's interesting is, and again, I wouldn't have released it if I saw redactions, and I want to make sure everybody understands what redaction is. Redaction is where you black out sections of the bill so that you can't see what was said or what was billed for. And on March the 15th, 2019, Mr. Henry provided a legal summary of the 312 hearing, and on that letter, he said attorney-client privilege work product, not a public document. That's what I was that's what I was used to seeing on things that you're not supposed to release. So again, this was a request from citizens. They were concerned about the cost of this 312 hearing, and attorney bills are of great relevance to the public. The cost incurred is funded by the taxpayers. And for example, the cost of Mr. Martinez's 312 proceeding and related litigation has exceeded over $115,000.
That's not at issue. What's
Okay.
at issue is the documents, please.
Okay, so
At worst, it's just a simple mistake. No malice, no damage, no victim. Is that something really warranting removing the mayor, removing any government official over? I mean, look at what Salvaggio's done. And they promoted him to city manager. The vicious political insiders are going to try to remove the mayor tonight, or at least remove her from the re-election ballot, even though the ethics board recommended no remedial action.
This finding shall constitute a reprimand from the Leon Valley Ethics Review Board, and no further remedial action is recommended. This concludes this matter, and the board shall now stand adjourned.
Since the mayor's not currently in violation of the city charter, it's unclear how they can even do this. Oh, wait. They do whatever they want. It's clear that the popular vote, the Democratic Republic, means nothing to Salvaggio's political establishment. In Leon Valley, your vote doesn't matter. If the political majority doesn't like the mayor, they'll simply replace him or her. Their latest proposed charter amendment would allow the council majority to easily remove a mayor, even a mayor who was overwhelmingly elected by the people in a fair and free election.
I ask that 306B say that the mayor may discuss and debate any matter before the council but shall remain neutral and unbiased. 306C, the mayor and council are not executives and should not encroach on the executive responsibilities of the city manager. And 306D, the mayor and council collectively as a body oversee the operations of the city by the city manager. Councilor Bradshaw.
I have a question on this first one. The mayor shall remain neutral and unbiased. What is the purpose for adding that into the, why do we need the mayor to be neutral on issues?
Well, the reason I'm requesting it is because in the many meetings that we've had where there has been some what some people term as unhealthy discussion, most people were under the impression that the mayor was supposed to be neutral, and were surprised to learn there was nothing in the charter in that regard. And so it was trying to help bring some civility. The mayor has an important role in the city. Citizens, it's for the citizens to vote on. If they don't want the mayor to be neutral and unbiased, and they don't agree with this, then they can vote against it, and that's how it'll be presented.
So it sounds nice, but in practicality, if the mayor, and I know we're not talking about the mayor now, it could be any mayor in the future, but if the mayor is allowed to debate and discuss a matter, I don't know how you do that neutrally. I don't know how you can argue a side with and stay neutral. It's by essence, the word debate is to you pick a side and you debate it. You can't, or you can try and see both sides, but to stay neutral to me doesn't make sense. And then the last part of it, and only vote in the event of a tie, how could the mayor vote on something if they're neutral? I mean, by the definition, they would have to say, I vote for both, or I don't vote, because they can't, the tie would have them choose a side. And so they can't do both. They can't stay neutral and vote in the case of a
But
tie.
if they're not comfortable with voting, the mayor does not have to vote. It's not required. Now, you're speaking, you're not speaking in really a biased manner. You're just giving your opinion. You're debating the issue.
I disagree. I'm speaking against this. I think it doesn't make sense to say that, you can be neutral and vote, or you can debate and discuss and be neutral. So that's not a unbiased. My bias is that this doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So again, and if we can use the charter, if we're adding this to the charter, and the charter can be used and say, if you violate any section of the charter, then you can be removed, then you're putting something in here that is virtually impossible to keep and to show. It just seems to me that we're stripping more power away from the mayor.
We can change everything. We can put anything we wanted. So what I've been trying to do is just add the things I would have added had I been able to talk, and make things a little bit better, because I do have more time on council and know.
This is nothing new. Joe and Kelly's political establishment has been trying to silence the mayor for a long time now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Mayor Chris Riley, and before I open the continuation of the 312 hearing begun on July 2nd, 2019, I would like to thank our Mayor Emeritus, Irene Baldridge, for her words of wisdom she shared with us on July 19th during the 312 hearing. She said, quote, "In my view, we need to work on putting our thoughts..."
Mayor, I'm sorry, point of order.
I'm going to go forth with this, Ms. Alxer, because this is before the 312 hearing. I haven't opened it up. So these are just some comments that I have.
I'd like to begin the hearing. Is this appropriate, Mr. Henry?
Your agenda doesn't necessarily list it for something other than that for the 312 hearing, but she's opened the meeting. She hasn't called the hearing yet. I don't believe it's really appropriate, but it would really take a motion in order to prevent it.
Okay.
It's up to you if you're going to recap it. The thing is, this type of stuff can be discussed once you get into deliberation. There is an appropriate time or point for it, because it can be deliberated and discussed amongst the whole council. So it's up to you guys if you want to allow her to talk about it now and then rebut it during deliberation, or hold it for deliberation time period and purposes.
I make a motion that it be held for deliberation purposes.
I'll second.
Of course.
I would like to make a comment also. Again, the bias of the council is showing against the mayor. You continue to try and prevent the mayor from speaking. She is the figurehead of the city. She is the leader. She hasn't opened the meeting yet. She hasn't opened the hearing. She would like to say some comments about the city of Leon Valley and about this process. And you continue to try to silence the mayor. It's happened, I don't know how many times, by both of you, mostly by Ms. Alcacer, at least 6 times.
Okay. Well, we already know it's going to pass, so by a motion by Ms. Alcacer and a second by Ms. Charles to deny my ability to speak before the 312 hearing, and it was only to get words of wisdom from Mayor Baldridge. And those of you that were here last meeting, she put us on the right track, and I wanted to remind us of that. But unfortunately, my 2 counselors to my left and my right are denying me that right. So all those in favor of denying the mayor the right to speak, say aye.
Aye.
We've got the motion and the second. It was Ms. Pasley who asked how we could do it. So, I mean, you're saying you can do
Procedurally,
it,
it's
so
allowed.
go ahead. So those in favor of not allowing me to make a statement before the 312 hearing opens, all those in favor say aye. Okay, Ms. Pasley, please take a roll call vote.
Counselor Charles?
Yes.
Counselor Alcacer?
Yes.
And Counselor Bradshaw?
No, I would like to hear what the mayor has to say.
Okay. It'll have to be deferred to another date.
And I think they're still upset that Mayor Riley helped gain signatures for the recall petitions to vote on removing the pro-Salvaggio city councilwoman.
She sent the email from her official city email account to her personal email and only then sent it to those other individuals. Why? She knew the city can pull up all emails, show who she's sending them to. So she just sent it to herself at her private email. One of the email recipients, Josh Stevens, is the owner and administrator of the Change Leon Valley project. These emails ended up along with numerous other documents on their website, which has been used to rally individuals against the investigation and the city council members, me and Councilor Alcacer.
And I'm saying that under oath.
Not at issue.
Okay. So it's just really interesting how these proceedings are used to slander people and try to use things against.
Not at issue.
Okay.
Next.
So why are they violating their own law to meet in person? It's because of you and me. You see, they don't want us to be able to speak publicly at the meeting. If it's via video conference, they have to let us call in, but not if it's held in person. The lengths these folks will go to carry out their tyranny, to avoid accountability, to hide from the people, is simply amazing. Salvaggio's political establishment is lawless. He'll go and shake businesses down using this order as cover, yet they'll violate the order whenever it's convenient for them. They'll attack your legal activity while blatantly breaking their own laws. Here are my public comments. They don't want it heard. In fact, be sure to subscribe to my channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell and going to all, so you'll be able to hear the rest of that story later this week. I oppose this item. It is entirely inappropriate for Salvaggio's political establishment to play their dirty politics during a time of disaster. In these uncertain times, it is very important to have a strong mayor to lead Leon Valley through the crisis. Attacking the mayor further reduces the credibility of the city government, and at the worst possible time. The mayor was lawfully elected by the people of Leon Valley. The mayor was up for re-election in less than a month, yet the political establishment canceled that election. Nevertheless, all issues relating to members of the Leon Valley City Council should be postponed until after the 2020 municipal election occurs. The people, not the political establishment on the council, shall select their mayor. It is outrageous for certain city council members to so blatantly overrule the voice of the people. Any one of the people attacking the mayor could have filed to run against her. Why didn't they? Is it that dirty games allow them to get their way, and they might be ousted at the polls? Regarding the ethics hearing, the charges are ridiculous. Bills for attorney fees are public information subject to required public disclosure. Information is shared between the city and the public most every single day, without said information flowing through the office of the city secretary, the city attorney, or the attorney general. Suggesting such a bureaucratic process would bring all government to a halt. The reality is that government officials, administrators, and employees routinely release public information. And that's how government should work. It appears Leon Valley has a city administration that will do anything for complete control, which is apparently inconsistent with a mayor selected and responsive to the public. This item should be tabled indefinitely. In order to expand my coverage, I'm establishing the Leon Valley Bureau, a physical presence just down the street from City Hall. Reporting about Leon Valley and working to end Salvaggio's reign of terror is important, but it's also time-consuming and expensive. I can't do it alone. Your volunteer work, our contribution of $20, $50, or more, will allow us to reform bad government and make the world a better place. Links to PayPal, Patreon, and regular mail are in the video description below. Only with the support of viewers like you were we able to catch and expose the Harris County Sheriff when he broke the law. This paper, a police dispatch call sheet, took 6 months to get, and the Texas Attorney General determined that the Harris County Sheriff violated state law when they refused to give it to me. Tyrants go to extreme lengths to cover up public information. Start digging to see what you can stir up.